stop moving forward. You look that up. Look up, did it get bad reviews? Look up reviews. Look up reviews. Look reviews.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I didn't watch Monday's episodes. Oh my gosh. I gotta.
Go punch that robot. Go tell him his butt is hit. Go tell him his butt is weird. His butt's really weird.
You know, it was like, think again, motherfucker. Like, think again. Like, this was completely in response to that. I don't care if I die. It was like, think again. Like the message was clear that there's some entity that distinctly cares that I not die. I was like, fuck, you know, like something
Oh, it got very bad reviews.
Well, yeah, of course. Of course, but something powerful as fuck wants me to live.
It got really bad reviews.
Yeah, like 2.5 out of 5, 1.1 out of 4, 3.5. That sounds average, but when you look at the ratings from Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic and stuff, it's like 37%, 40%.
I really feel like that's not really all that shocking. Like, I really feel like it's not that shocking. Because those movies aren't.
So, Michael Bay is going to work on his new movie.
But it's going to be a new writer.
Platinum, Dune, Michael Bay, Andrew Form, and Brad Fuller. Some dude who's got a long ass name I can't pronounce, Jim Giannopoulos, is now at the helm of the movie. And it said he's looking to give the franchise, what's this? A bold new direction?
Oh god, they gotta be fucking.
Oh god, these words, these buzzwords, they're gonna make you, hopefully this means that the new film in production will be less giant mutant monsters. What the fuck are you talking about? That's all TMNT's ever been.
Stop talking for a second. No. Shush. I love you. Give me your face. Mwah. I just want to point out that about a production of a film called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they're hoping this movie, the upcoming film, won't be about giant mutant monsters.
Well, the rest of the sentence is less giant mutant monsters and more gritty ninjas in the streets of New York.
So they want a movie about the Foot?
That's what it sounds like.
This is like motherfuckers saying they want less action in less action, more drama in The Walking Dead. It was like, why are things so sad? Make things happier in The Walking Dead. Look at me, I'm a sad millennial. What the fuck? Are you serious? Are you serious? Less giant mutant so you actually, basically, you want the Turtles to be taken out of the Turtles movies. You want less Turtles in Turtles movies. The motherfucker who wrote that loved Prometheus.
Asking for, like, maybe what they're asking for is like a movie about April and Casey. Maybe that's what they want. Casey and
boy, I almost like actually got mad at you. Like I almost got mad at you, like as an individual.
I'm not being serious. Jeez.
No, but still.
They might not be joking, though.
Yeah, I'm about to say I actually got angry for a second. I was like, I'm not shocked if this would actually be what motherfuckers want. That they genuinely want a fucking TMNT movie that is not about the TMNT. That's what they want. They want a TMNT movie that's not about the TMNT. And there's no way, there's just no genuine conceivable way that you can't find like the comedy in that. Like, I would much rather them not write, like, I just would rather there not be a movie rather than a motherfucker actually having that kind of mindset about the film, having a say. Because here's the problem. When I'm saying this, so make sure I get my plug in. I feel like I feel like the reason people didn't might like the reason that movie got bad reviews had fuck all to do with the movie itself. It was a movie made for older kids, older meaning like 8 to 9.
I would say old teenagers to young adults.
Yeah, older, yeah, young teens to young adults. I say young teens because like if you're like 8, you could totally enjoy those movies. Like that's who those movies were for.
What I
They
felt
were.
like there was a lot of like people didn't want to go see them because they felt like it was Michael Bay. I feel like it's because of Michael Bay. Because people tend to have this tendency to say, well, I've seen every Transformers, so it's going to be more Transformers.
But that's
that
not the same. It's not the same concept. That's not like.
I mean, I'll admit that a lot of Michael Bay's movies have the same sort of like feel and themes, but that doesn't excuse the writing. Like the writing is usually okay. Because I'll admit, like the first TMNT, like that he made, like it was okay. I liked it. It was an enjoyable movie. Whereas the second one, I genuinely loved the fuck out of it because
it was fun as shit.
It was a fun movie. Like it was like everything I ever asked for in a TMNT movie, they did it. It was busy. It was a busy movie.
Yeah, because it didn't feel like there was. It felt like the first one because that's kind of what happens, I guess, in a lot of films. That does Bay kind of gets it's kind of like with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like the first movie kind of gets a lot of exposition out of the way. Kind of gives you like the origin, tells you what's going on, and then you kind of move forward from that. And the movies after that can be way more entertaining in a weird way. Because that's kind of what that was. Like the first movie really did kind of give you a solid introduction to each of the to the turtles, how the inner turmoil worked between the four of them, and all that shit. And then they give you some idea who Shredder was. But the second movie fucking really kind of ramped up the stuff to look at factor. Like it really did. There was a lot more going on. There was genuinely more stuff happening. It was still a little too much Megan Fox for my taste, but that didn't make it a bad movie. But
say, like, something I do like about what he did, like in my opinion, because anybody who's ever made the Turtles, they never really went out of their way to make them seem like their own individual people, and maybe it was a little amped up for some people, but I kind of liked that he had them all dress and act a little differently based on their personalities.
Yeah, fair enough. Because like, what was it?
Usually it's always just a different color tone.
Yeah, it's just because that's totally what the 2007 movie was. Like they were damn near all the same height, kind of had the same like facial features. Like okay, they had different faces, but they all had pretty much the same damn bodies. Like pretty much the same bodies, with just But no, that one was very different. That one's, I guess, is because their physical differences were so exaggerated. It made each one of them look more unique and more like individual, as opposed to like them having like slight variants. Like like it was what it was. Like they because the idea of them living underground, and they have the chance to do what normal people would do. You find things, you decide whether or not you like this, and you want to incorporate it into what makes you you. They did that, Raphael wearing the fucking, like, his bandana wasn't a bandana. It was like more of a fucking, like, skull cap do-rag thing with a fucking pair of shades on top of it. Fucking Leonardo with the goddamn, like, bullet shield thing on his chest. And Michelangelo, and then fucking Donatello. I still don't understand how the fuck he got around with that fucking thing on his back. Like, I never understood that. But, and Rocksteady and Bebop and Rocksteady were so fucking amazing. Like, I think Stephen Amell...
Again, that was the main thing. Like, seeing them come to life on the big screen, like, that was something I wanted as a kid beyond all reason. And the fact that it finally happened, I was very happy.
And Krang... Because Sheamus and fucking Gary Anthony Williams working together, that made me so happy. Like, them working together. Their chemistry
you could tell
was
that they
so
genuinely
good.
Liked
they got along.
Characters.
Yeah, they were happy
and on top of that,
characters.
yeah.
Because and they didn't over like dramatize those characters. They weren't bumbling buffoons, but they were still lighthearted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I mean, they were kind of bullheaded, but like, the thing is that they were competent at what they were doing.
Yeah, you know they knew what they were doing, but it wasn't like they were made. It wasn't like they were BOWs or like some military made, like determined to destroy and
They
kill.
weren't Tonka and fucking
Razor, yeah. Yeah, it was a little bit different.
I love the second TMNT Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah.
But Tonka and Razor are not my favorite things to come from the lore.
I think that has a lot more to do with the fact that they couldn't have much personality because they were babies.
Yeah.
So they were fun, but they didn't really earn any screen time because they couldn't do anything. So yeah. But like we need to take it in a new direction. It didn't do well. It didn't do well. Did y'all want like Avengers money? Because that wasn't happening. That wasn't happening. It's like
I'll keep an open mind about it. I'm still anticipating.
Oh, I'll always have an open mind.
I felt like they were really building something. Like they were building like the cinematic universe for the TMNT finally.
And then but they're going to destroy it.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like
they
that's.
had all these pieces in place to like have all these movies.
They did, dude. Like they had like so much.
Like Baxter was there. Like everything was there.
Yeah, they like I'm gonna be mad now that I'm not gonna get to see Tyler Perry turn into a giant fucking fly. I'm not getting that.
That's the real crime here.
That's the y'all give me the trilogy first, then you reboot it. You turn Tyler Perry into that damn fly. I will destroy those turtles. Like you give me that, cause him talking with that.
I've seen them like adding like Rat King and Leatherhead and everything else, like all those silly characters, but making them
Dude,
like.
Could you imagine how beastly Leatherhead would be in that style of team? Like, cause he would tower over them. Like he would genuinely be this.
It would be insane.
Dude, it would be beautiful. Like I'm seeing it in my head. Like, cause they're like 7 foot tall. So I feel like he'd be like this 9 foot tall, like monstrosity that that towered over them. And I think what they would have to do is because in the new cartoon, him and Michelangelo, because what it is the Utram or the Krang, they created him, and they were just kind of like testing on him. Because they were trying to figure out how to destroy the turtles. And him and Michelangelo became friends and Michelangelo freed him. And I think it would just be dope if they were to do that. The new Michelangelo, like the Michelangelo would be able to like reach through to him. And, they would, he would become their ally. Because you remember in Mutants in Manhattan, that's what happened. Like they were friends. And we had to fight him, but they had controlled his brain or whatever the fuck. Just to be fair, it's always been
opportunities. It's all it is. It's so many lost opportunities in my opinion. All because like people judged a movie.
And it's not necessarily the people the people who judged it were the people who are paid to judge it. And like I don't think they care about what the fans think. Like. As a whole, you have to think about like the majority of the movies that make big money in box offices are movies that had a big name already, or movies that are rated R because people go to see them because there's a specific thing in that movie people are going to see. Like there's a difference between making something because you want to get paid and a passion project. Like knowing, like, because it's like Game Grumps. Aaron played God of War even though he doesn't like that series. Because he knows people wanted to watch him play it. Yeah. Like, that's sometimes reason enough to do that. Because TMNT isn't just about TMNT. It's not just for the movies. You sell the toys, you sell the games. The merchandise comes from that. Like, it's like with Transformers. Like, Transformers could have been not that good, but it still fucking sold toys. Because Revenge of the Fallen is still my favorite line of Transformers toys. Like it's just a really good line, like comparative to what came before and what came after it. It was like the best. Everything in that line of toys was like beastly. So it's gonna suck. It's really super gonna suck. Shit on y'all. It's really gonna suck that like they're like, no, didn't do well. What do we like? Cause it's the funny thing is,
it's just white instantly.
the weird thing is, they think that the art direction of the movie is why it didn't get good ratings. And TMNT and Power Rangers both. Well, the Power Rangers movie was actually kind of terrible. That's why it failed. It was a fucking abysmal movie. But they fail to realize that TMNT is kind of touted as a kids thing. It was a Nickelodeon movie to be on, on top of everything, but it's considered a kids franchise. So 40-year-old motherfuckers who don't like TMNT, like who never didn't see the fucking promos, and think to themselves, "Oh man, I got to see that. It looks good." It's the same reason people don't buy quote unquote hardcore gamers don't buy Nintendo products, because Nintendo is a family company and it's kiddie games. Basically what I'm getting at is people are fucking retarded, and they're just Neanderthalic morons who don't understand that something can be for people beyond the scope of what they see. Because it, again, is just, they are good movies. They're not very greatly written. The first one ain't. But the second one is really well written. I said the ending to the first one was really kind of good to me. Was really, really good to me. Like, I really liked the ending to the first one. And the second one, all around. Everybody I talked to about it, mind you, everybody I talked to about it likes the Turtles. But there was nobody I've ever asked who's seen it said they didn't like it. Nobody I asked who saw it said they did not like it. And everybody who saw it wanted there to be a third one. They was like, there should be another one after this, because this is going really well. This is good. This is a good movie.
They put the pieces in place. It was a rocky start, and then they got their footing, and they put everything in place for this new movie that's never gonna come.
This might be sad news to somebody if they see this video. This might be sad news to be like, they're not gonna make a third one? No, they're gonna make a new one. It's kind of like how fuck-busted Spider-Man was, because they had to keep rebooting it because the fucking actor always did some shady weirdness. Tobey Maguire didn't want to be Spider-Man no more. The new dude was like, I'm finna say some stuff that's gonna get me fired from being Spider-Man. So now they have the new kid being Spider-Man. It's weird. Oh.
Tom Holland's pretty decent.
No, Homecoming was fucking amazing. That was a fun ass movie to watch. Had a lot of tropes that did I'm not a fan of tropes. I'm not if you've seen I'm not a fan of tropes. Fuck. That does it. It doesn't bum me out because I think the new movie is gonna be bad. It bums me out because again there was a lot of potential with what they created so far, and now it's just gonna be nothing. And that happens a lot in the world of video games, for sure. I would say, the Def Jam fighting series, there was potential in that game series because it continued to change up over time. I wouldn't be surprised if Def Jam made another fighting game, but it was a side-scroll fighter, because each game was different. The first one was a flat-out wrestling game. The second one was more of a street brawler game. The third one was some weird-ass Donkey Konga type rhythm fighting game that was bananas as balls. So I feel the fourth one would be this flat out 2D side scroll fighter.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll share an unpopular opinion. I think it would have been pretty good if they would have kept making DMC.
No, yeah, totally.
Cause as much as no, I'm not disappointed that they went back to DMC's original storyline, because I do enjoy that. But I think that they probably could have made something pretty decent if they were given the chance to continue working on that. But it won't happen because
if you give up,
too attached.
If you give up to something, it doesn't have a chance to get better. It doesn't.
Because I'll be honest, at the ending of that game, gave me hope for
a better sequel. Yeah. Because I would it would have been good for them to just have noticed what people didn't like about it despite the fact, well, this isn't Dante, this isn't what we want. Well, this is what you got. And maybe you can just, because let's be fair, this Kratos isn't the Kratos we grew up with. Well, grew up is a weird word, weird way for me to use it because I've only known him for like 10 years. But this Kratos is not the Kratos from 2000, from PlayStation 2. This is a new guy, all the way around. This is a new dude, you know, and people seem to be okay with the way this game. There are people who don't like the whole Atreus aspect of the game, but those people go eat a dick because, like, he wasn't in your way. And for those who say that, like, the entire game is,
you can completely ignore most of his stuff besides. Like,
yeah, he's not relevant.
It's more or less like
the puzzle stuff, the stuff you need to progress. Yeah.
You don't have to upgrade him for combat. You don't have to upgrade his.
You don't have to use him, honestly.
Yeah.
You don't. He because, like, I'll say he's him and Ellie are the evolution of Ashley from Resident Evil 4, because they were sidekicks. Well, Ellie explicitly was a fetch quest. I mean, a escort mission.
Escort. Because
you were actually taking her somewhere. People confuse Atreus, the whole him being there as a glorified escort mission. He's not the escort. Kratos' wife is the escort. They're taking her somewhere, not Kratos taking the boy.
His journey, like to get this boy prepared.
Yeah, like, and if you don't get that, then you just aren't paying attention and probably stupid. Like, a lot of, like, it is what it is. If you think that game is about Kratos, like, taking the boy somewhere, you're an idiot. You were not paying attention and you're stupid. The whole point is to spread the wife's ashes in a very specific location. And he couldn't leave him there. And honestly, like, he needed to go. It was important to, like, build him as a character, as a man, I should say.
As far as this game is concerned, like, without saying anything, like, it makes it very clear from the beginning that he can't leave him there alone.
No. Oh my gosh, yes. If you get to the end of the game, a lot of things that you think, you'll realize how well the game was written, I'll say. Because I will say there's some bait and switch shit in the plot when you get to the end. And you can speculate all day long, and I promise you, you'll never figure out. I don't think you would ever figure out exactly where the bait and switch comes. Like, I genuinely want to be there when you finish the game. I feel that you're
continue streaming it. Like, that's just what it is. I don't play that game unless I stream it.
It's like, I feel like when you get there, you're gonna have this moment that's gonna make you like, I want there to be a sequel to this. Like, I want to play the sequel now. I really want to play the sequel. Like, it's like, because there's something to that beauty. It's a matter of, like, doing something because this is what you believe in, and you know where the end of this journey is, and the people don't know, the fans don't know, the critics don't know. They don't need to know for you to still do what you're doing, because this is art. Like, they created a world within them TMNT movies. They built a world. They did. Because the idea at the end of the second movie was, we don't have to be underground anymore. Everybody knows what we did.
We're accepted. Like, that's what it is. Like, there's such good development. That's why I said I love the second movie, because is it the, like, best movie ever? No, but it's a good movie to me because it's based on something I like, and
they did a good job.
It's competent.
They did a really good job. Because I'll say that's the one thing no other TMNT anything has ever done. Ever. There's never been anything. I can look at
that and say, whoever made this genuinely loves the TMNT. Like, the people involved in this genuinely love the TMNT.
It's like they understood, because, like, they clearly were people from the 80s who knew what, you know, people would expect from Bebop and Rocksteady and all that other shit. But the idea of them allowing the Turtles to be accepted by, like, the society around them, the one they've lived under for 15 plus years, like, people are like, hey, like, yeah, you're different, but we know that you're good You're not here to hurt us or anything like that. And on
Like,
top of
you
that,
save the
you're
civilians.
here to
You've
save
done
us.
everything.
Like, yeah.
You're our protectors. Like, this is a good thing.
Like, other than that, like, the only humans to know they existed and be on their side were Casey and April. Like, ever.
Yeah.
They were the only ones to ever, like, be on their side. And that's... It would have just made, like, honestly, it would have made... Because, well, that, and, like, in the new cartoon, there's a blind dude who runs the pizza shop. But he can't see that they're not, you know, people. And it just is what it is. There's... Y'all had so much open space to explain what happens to Shredder, to let General Crane come back. You had set up the good plot for Baxter Stockman. You had space to put Rat King in there. The fucking dudes from the teenagers from outer space. There's a brother and sister. The Zootroms or something like that. Those people.
Mm-hmm.
You had space for them. Cause I say at the end of like by the end of the third movie, they could have figured out a way to make that happen. Like, you know, like a big show, like a big final, like, you know, showdown or whatever. Hell, they could have killed the Turtles at the end of the fucking franchise. They could have, like, you know, like they had to leave. It is what it is. It's not ruined. It's just in the wind, and it sucks, like, completely.
It's not like I'm like saying the world ending or anything. It's just disappointing.
Yeah, it's really sad. That's genuinely sad.